This video is going to be a relatively short video, at least short for me. It's a behind-the-scenes look at some coffee. I'd done a video a couple of years ago, which was a really fun video to make, and it's by far my most hated video of anything I have. It's this one, the how we do freeze-dried coffee. We didn't make freeze-dried coffee, we just used instant freeze-dried coffee, because the commercial companies really have it down pretty well. I also did try doing a test with freeze-drying some fresh ground coffee. It turned out really terrible. I never finished the video. I never edited it. I mentioned it to a viewer, Jean's Roses, I think, and they said they'd like to see the pieces that I do have. So this is it. And most of it's a discussion between me and the other people here of how it was looking and what seemed to be wrong with it. So that's what this is. The freeze dryer has defrosted after the last batch, which was number 585. And now we're going to get ready for batch 586, doing some apples, and we're also doing a little experiment with some coffee grounds. So these are fresh coffee grounds. Weighed them out 100 grams into this pan. This pan weighs 26.9 grams. And then the coffee, we weighed it out a couple hours ago now, and it's already gained a gram of weight. So we'll get that onto the tray last. So it's 30.07 right now. When I put this into there, it was 29, so 129.6. So that's already up 1.2 grams. Just because it's been sitting out for a couple hours. We'll get that started. And I've got this on there. I'll use that part for some more apples. The freeze dryer has already been pre-freezing for an hour and a quarter, and it's below zero. It says -3 right now. So we'll get those in there, starting at the bottom. Looks like we've got a seal ring all the way around there already. So we'll be back in 2 days. So don't go away. We'll be back in just a minute on your side. The apple slices and the little bit of coffee has been in there for 27.5 hours total, including all the freeze time. It says it's got about a half hour left. I'm gonna stop it now and weigh it so I can get it back in for a couple hours while it's still a semi-reasonable time of the day. I can see a film on the inside of the plastic in this area, in the splash zone of that coffee. I think all the delicious volatiles and oils and things have sprayed out. But this is the first test. We'll see what happens, see how yucky it is, and see if there's any reason to try again later. So I'll go ahead and bypass the rest of the time. We'll let the air in and get them taken out and check the weights. Okay. Yeah, I can smell a little bit of coffee flavor. Mostly I smell apples, but I can definitely smell coffee. And then the tray 4. So it's just a little higher than 929. And most of it is this part. I'm going to check that and see what it's doing right now. Make sure it's not touching anything. That's 128.1 or 0.2. It was 129.6, so it's down 1.4, but I think it absorbs moisture quickly. Feel free, I can cut this. So it went up a 1.1 before I got it in the freeze dryer because it was sitting out. And now it's down 1.2.
Is it coffee?
It's gotta be.
It's powdery and dry.
Yeah.
It's like a white powder.
Whoa. I wonder if it's caffeine. I wonder if the caffeine blows out of it. Wow. Yeah, try a...
I mean, it does look like caffeine powder. I mean, it's white.
Well, it's got the bitterness of it.
Yes, it does.
Now you won't be able to sleep because you look coffee down.
That's very bitter.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah,
if that's gonna be
less bitter. God, that would be weird. I mean, because it can't be anything new. People have had to have tried this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get, I don't know if you can see that. So it left a powder. I thought it was going to be an oily residue on there, but it's actually powdery. And it wipes right off. I don't know what that is. I mean, it's got to be a component of the coffee because of where it is on the shield in comparison to where the coffee was. I should definitely cover it with a paper towel, if nothing else, to keep the residue from getting everywhere else. Okay, let's stir that around a little. There's like almost no flavor left, or smell. I mean, again, that could be partially because the water's gone. All the things that we freeze dry have less odor.
Yeah, but this still has an odor. It's
Right,
different.
right. Well, they all do. Right. Usually it's just less. This seems different. This will be very interesting to. I wonder if I
Made
should.
it a little bit more roasted because it got heat.
Yeah, it's only 120 degrees though. So I'm thinking this is such a small amount and it's so thin. I'm going to go ahead and take this out now because we just want to be able to test it. Tomorrow we could brew some coffee with it and see what it does in comparison to some that hasn't gone through this. I definitely would try this again with a much lower temperature to see what it does. Interesting. And I'll just go ahead and put the other apples back in there for the dry check for a couple hours. But this I'll take out and just pour in a Ziploc. That's interesting. So I'm not going to worry about protecting it so much. So we won't Mylar bag this and save it yet because it seems too odd. So I'm going to save this in, and the Ziploc like this won't keep moisture out very well, but it's good enough for what I want to know for tomorrow or the next day. And then we can do another test later at a very low temperature and see what happens. That is very interesting to see that film on there. Boy, it'd be, I mean, if we really wanted to know, if I don't know where to get things analyzed. I would love to scrape up all that powder and have it analyzed, find out what the hell it is. That's interesting. Yeah, but I don't think they get it that way. Right, and I thought they do it with cold water. I don't know how though.
Multiple different ways.
Oh, okay.
One of the ways is using a special, I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, you basically wash the good parts out.
Yeah.
Well,
The whole reason for living,
then you
just wash it up.
harvest that caffeine and
Right.
use it either into something to add caffeine to it or probably turn it into a powder.
Or, yeah, exactly.